big, huge steam engine, guys. This is actually a tractor. You're looking at a tractor with a big, huge throttle governor, twin cylinder engine. And then over here, this is what you could actually watch to see it actually oil. You would know that you would see oil because you could see in these screens right here the oil that was traveling to all the different necessities for like the lubricating of the cylinders and some of your other real intricate parts. But this behind it's a really huge steam engine, in case y'all guys didn't know that. That's a big, probably 100 horse steam engine or better. Of course, it's, as you can see, there's missing a few pieces, but it was resurrected in its original because it was in a factory that was actually dilapidated and being torn down, and so they resurrected what was left. And if you're watching the videos, the man that owns all this had passed away in a freak accident on the job, and so a lot of this stuff probably won't ever get back running, but at least it was saved from total destruction. There's another power head. We're going to see a bunch of cool vintage electrical stuff. This is a generator right here. Ran off a big steam engine, and it's hooked up. I don't know if we'll be running it today or not, but maybe I can catch it on go. You can see the feed line going to it for the steam valves. It's a big boiler over there. Another small steam engine, probably a 5 or 10 horse, maybe. Here's looks like to be some, it was moved, that was a motor that would turn this to do something. I don't know exactly what the purpose is, but you can see some really cool vintage electronics, which I'm all about. I love to see that stuff right there. Okay, this was a generator. Okay, it says right here, gives us a little bit of history of it. It was in the California town when they had water. Apparently, there was a flow of water that would make that work. This was in a house. You can read the history of it. Here's another. This was a generator head. Look at that big control panel. Creepy, isn't it? Big generator. They call that a gold press. Apparently that would have been used to do something with gold. Seen a sign on it. This is how factories used to look. PTO shaft everywhere. Very extensive collection. Some of the stuff I'm not sure what it does. That's a drill. Probably came out of a furniture plant, more than likely. But all of it running off of a PTO shaft up there. Big, huge steam engine. We're going to venture onto another building, guys. Walk in here. This is a big old powerhead PTO 2-stroke diesel.
No. That's crazy. Yeah, they do. They run that one right there. Oh, they do? Yeah, they do. Oh, yeah. It's beautiful, yeah. The standard there, that's bad right. When one of the boys in the game, they just fall apart. He takes it right. Right? Yeah. Okay. These people must not have been very good. Other people back there will look. I think I'm stuck. You have to go that side. Well, that side. Okay, good idea. I'm stuck. It's hard to get out with that thing outside.
Pierce Arrow. Y'all see that, right? Oh. See that hearse buggy. This car is functional. Stanley Steamer, they run this thing. I haven't seen it out today yet.
It's locked down. No, it's done. Big bulldog looking thing. Big bulldog.
This is a very extensive collection, guys. I'm going to show you a really... Now, this is the Bulldog, the Lanz Bulldog. I was talking about this in one of my other videos. To crank this, I know a little bit about these. I can tell you some more about these. This, you would heat this. They call this the bull nose. You'd heat this up, and then you had ignition by spark, but you had to heat this thing up. Once this thing was hot, it would run off of anything. It'd run off oil, kerosene, gas. Didn't matter. These things were made in Russia, I think, but they call it the Lanz Bulldog, and they came in many, many different sizes. This is your more common size that you would see, and if you look, you see this one actually has got electric start, which is what I call a luxury in that day. But this is how they looked, and they were real simple. I think they only had one gauge that operated. It was the rotation gauge, so you know it was going one direction. We can't see it there. The lighting's kind of bad, but you can see a small gauge off to the bottom left there, the middle ways left, and that was your rotation gauge. It would tell you which direction the motor was spinning. For reverse, you would just spin the motor backwards. These came in many different sizes. This was your more common size. A big single cylinder, has no valves. It's done by ports. I guess you could say it's pretty much a 2-cycle. But what a neat machine these things were. They have a cult following, the Lanz Bulldog. If y'all want to look up that, look at the cult following behind these things. And I want to show you a really cool Ford tractor. It's got a flathead V8, in case you didn't know, but you don't see that very often in these old Fords. Here's one that's a 6-cylinder. Look at that. You won't see too many of these like that. I have one of these, and a Belarus, how do you want to say it, but air-cooled, twin-cylinder diesel, and I have one of these, and it is a working machine. It's in better shape than mine. You've seen, if you watch any of my videos, you'll see. Diesel, like I say, air-cooled. You've got a big fan in front of the. What makes these things really unique is there's the fan right here that blows into the motor to keep it cool. 31 horsepower, these Belarus, or however you want to say it, Belarus, but they kind of originate from Ukraine. We are in a huge tractor building, and I haven't even gotten all the buildings yet. I just love to see these machines work. This is a Power King. I've seen these things before. They're actually kind of rare and pricey, but these were built for economy. People that wanted to work in their gardens but didn't want to spend a lot of money on a tractor. And a lot of them had single cylinder Kohlers. I don't know what this one's got on it. It's got a little bit bigger motor than that. It's a little Hercules motor, I think is what that is. It looks like a Hercules 4-cylinder. A Centure. And there was a reason for why you've seen these John Deere tractors like that. They were designed to keep the crops from getting down and up under the wheels. This would brush the crops away so that they wouldn't get run over by the back tires. You're going to see a line of these tractors like that. The reason for all that. It's a case. They all had a specific purpose. And you notice it says orchard, so you might see these things in peach fields and different whatnots. Massey Harris before Massey Ferguson. Here's another big case. Minneapolis Moline, those are some neat tractors. They're big, bulky tractors, and they're really neat. And they're not too expensive if you buy them. You don't have to spend a lot of money to have one. These Alice Chambers are just tried and true. Some of the video buildings I can't talk in. I got people standing all around me, so I don't want to be, Thank you guys for tuning in, though. Another big case diesel. Samson. So John Deere 2-cycle diesel. You can see that big GM Brutes type supercharger. And there was a reason for that. That was to make the 2-cycle diesel functional. And it helped with a little bit of power, but really it just made it functional because it was a port, no valves. To clean the cylinders out, you needed something to do that with. That blowed fresh air into the cylinders. How's it going?
You got enough phone to take all these pictures?
Yeah, who would have ever thought, one day I had to turn my phone down so I could hear somebody. I was listening to the radio on it, and they're like, I got to turn this thing down, When I was like 12, I never thought that would be the day, All right. We're getting halfway, well, not quite halfway through this collection. I'm going to speed through some of this. Another Centure. No, Minneapolis Moline. Run on propane. See the big cylinder? See the regulator? Boop, boop, boop. Earthmaster. Another economy tractor. But what a neat machine. Another, I think, a Hercules inline 4. That's what we got here. A little late model because it doesn't have a magneto. It's got a distributor. I think that's a Hercules. I could be wrong. Comment section, let me know. Farmer All. Another Lanz Bulldog. Wow, this was about the same size as one we just seen. You'll see a lot of these in this year. Industria, but that's what these things did here. And you can see this one doesn't have any kind of ignition. This one here just uses the heat from the, you would heat this, you build a fire right up underneath this thing here with a torch or something, and you heat that up. Move over to the next row here in a second. A parrot, a Perry, 39 model. Okay, so we've got this one other row we got to work down. We've got to get this next side. Whistle while I walk. John Deere 1932 model. And a big Gibson. These are some pretty tried true John Deere's, the old 630. Now notice it only has one single front wheel, not a dual front wheel. Like that one. There's another Lanz Bulldog, but a real small version of that. Remember I was telling you they'll come in different sizes. And there's something else. There's a tiny one here, a little tiny one. Yep, and you would heat that up right there, like, and that would create your ignition process. The O&K diesel. It's a crazy looking machine here. Look at this big, huge diesel. It's a twin cylinder, a V-twin diesel. I don't think I've seen one of these. Mind in the comment section, let me know. See that there? Big twin cylinder diesel. There's your injector. Propane farmer oil. Hey, we've got a pretty cool selection of lawn tractors. Back when you could actually have a lawn mower and that was functional for many other things. But let me spin over here. Dude, what a neat collection of all kind of different stuff. You know, you've got the, this is the Bush Hog. I don't know, I think this is a case, I think. But you can look and see all the variations of how they would do things, even on a smaller scale. Look how it's got this thing has a sickle bar mower on it. You see that, guys? This little machine right here has a sickle bar mower on it. And there was a purpose for that, because you could harvest a small field with hay, and you didn't need a big tractor if you were just going to do your horses. You know, you were just in it just to keep your own, your own self-sustainability. This could easily chop down enough hay in a field to do what you had. Look at the top, such a small machine. It had really beefy tires. It's very impressive to see what they come up with years ago. Alice Chambers, Cub Cadets, Duets Alice. Which that's actually sort of that would be probably from the 80s, but what a neat thing. Minneapolis Moline, Oliver. And I'm not sure, I don't think that's the original motor. It may be, it could very well be. We've got something, this would run like a snowplow in the front. It was a PTO. And then you've got, look at this little Barton. See the really cool old motor on it. I just love looking at these old engines that still function and just look different from all what you see nowadays. Everything is so weird. I've got one last row of tractors and we'll be out of this building. Huge John Deere. That's a really nice case. Some of these tractors were going to be got running, but the man, like I say, he was no longer with us on account of it being just, he had an accident on the job. That'll be part of the thumbnail. I'll show you. These, there was a reason for this. This right here was actually a conversion kit you could put on these tractors, and they were designed to travel over top of the crops to do spraying and different things. So there was actually this isn't a joke, this was an actual piece of equipment that farmers used to do some things with. It made it easy to change the oil, that's for sure. And then your classic 8N Ford, the Workmaster, a little later version of that. The Co-op. You like that? One section I think we're going to ride through in this other part, the same building. Big Oliver. Here's some of these buildings. This stuff's been in here for a while, but at least it's in the dry. But here's a bunch of really cool Internationals. It's called a C truck because of the way that the cab was. Not everybody remembers these though. Look at the cool trailer. This was what they call a calliope. It was play music. That's the boiler. There's a motor in there that does some stuff too. You can see use a Chevrolet starter solenoids to actuate each one of the whistles. One of the whistles is broken, but it's been salvaged. It's packed, isn't it? Really cool flathead V8 just sitting here chilling, hanging out. At least it's in the dry. The signs, there's signs everywhere in here. And there's no telling what you're looking at when you're looking at a dollar value of all this stuff. Okay, and we'll cut this out for a minute and we'll move on.